I think really in kind of two dimensions. I was at COP26, particularly around the finance track, around 3 weeks ago. And there was a very, very significant announcement made there in which an organization I chair, IOSCO, the International Organization of Securities Regulators, was part of. And that was all around the establishment of a new international sustainable finance board, standards board. And essentially, that is to do with solving the problem of the alphabet soup of standard setters and standards within sustainable finance, which creates so much noise in the system, which then gets in the way of ultimately investors having credible, comparable information to make investment decisions and to allocate capital in the way that they intend to. So that announcement basically was around convergence of standard setters and convergence of standards around a global baseline for corporate level reporting. And my personal view is that that is hugely significant because ultimately the whole stack of sustainable finance, from asset managers to ratings agencies to stress tests of bank balance sheets, depends on corporate level disclosure. And to come to Hong Kong, I think it's actually imperative, given the size of our market footprint, which straddles global capital and mainland China business, essentially. Given the size of that, we need to move fast to embed those global standards in Hong Kong. So that's really the first thing I'd say. And actually, I'm a market regulator, and of course, we have a very, very close eye on greenwashing and convergence of standards and convergence of standard setters, and embedding this in Hong Kong certainly tackles or should tackle greenwashing with better outcomes.
If I can just jump in, sir, I wanted to ask you about these standards that you are creating. Are you seeing that Asia is lagging behind that of the West?
Actually, there's a lot of movement now. The era of sustainable finance being rather dispersed and fragmented, and a great deal of talk but relatively little action from a regulatory perspective, is changing. It's changing in Europe. It's now changing in the United States. But I don't think that if we take urgent action, which I think is entirely possible, both in Hong Kong but in other Asia centers, I don't think we will be behind. And actually, we can't be behind because Asia accounts 50% of greenhouse emissions globally. And therefore, if sustainable finance, and in particular climate finance, is going to make a difference, we have to make that difference in this part of the world, including Hong Kong, but other centers. But Hong Kong is pretty crucial when you think of how it acts as a bridge between global capital and mainland China, which after all is 30% of global emissions.